Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Nerd channel, my view of books and everything nerdy with a cup of petty and a dash of sass. Okay, well, this is going to kind of be nerdy, but also political. So, yeah, if you're not into politics, especially, well, I think you by now should know that I'm a progressive liberal Democrat, and I know some YouTubers or social media people, they are, I don't get into politics. Politics aren't in everything. Yeah, politics are in everything. You might deny it, and check out Handicapable Black Woman channel. I show proof in so many different ways, and oh my gosh, I just passed 260 episodes. Yeah, but I'll tell the scamming story soon. But yeah, hire a few people on Fiverr. You think you can trust people on that? It's like editors. I found some great, editors, and like there's other areas. But when it comes to marketing a YouTube channel, a lot of them just learned, oh, just load them with bots and say that you got them to, yeah, yeah. So they basically trashed but I'm not giving up. I'm trying not to give up on that site because I'm stubborn and bullheaded, but it's to a point where it's basically my diary to myself. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to talk about that another day on the Nerd channel because trying to market a business while having a disability, while trying to create a business so you could be fully independent, while having a small budget, but you're still trying. And that's one thing, especially the Republicans do not get, is that some people with disabilities want to work. We do want to go outside, we do want to be productive, but it's a lot of the able-bodied who don't welcome us in. They fear us, don't like us, they're bigoted, they're ableist, whatever you want to call it, but a lot of them don't want us out there. And on my other channel, I have so many stories where I say this, but did you know that there is currently a Republican that is trying to, like, with the whole thing that Elon is doing right now, they are trying to take money away from people with disabilities, or say people with disabilities, you have to work in order to get anything. You have to work in order to, and but then they take away DEI. But then they take away DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, people with disabilities is part of the diversity because a lot of people don't normally see us. They don't understand us. They're not used to our being and our needs. So, in so many aspects, we are a part of diversity. And then, especially with the inclusion, there are a lot of technology and a lot of things that some of us need in order to be included within a space, in order to do a job. And a lot of people think just because someone has a disability, they won't be able to do the quality. If you don't give us the resource that would allow us, if you don't allow us the space that will allow us, because do you know how many jobs, once they saw how I walk, they blamed the stairs on why they would not give me a position? How many times over the phone they would say how impressed they are by my resume, how impressed they are, and they have to see me as soon as possible. They want to give me the job when I walk through the door, but then when I get walked through the door, oh, you're overqualified. You don't want this job. Oh, you need to go for other jobs. You need to go for other positions, to my face. And they don't care. Or our elevator doesn't work, or we don't have an elevator. How do you think you're going to get up here all the time? How do you think you're going to walk the stairs? How do you think you're going to do that? Or our office is so big. It's like by the time you come down the halls, and like some of them, they would say some of the most ignorant, awful, ableist things. By the time you make it down the hall, it's like the meeting's going to be halfway over. Or the way that you walk, if you walk by our our clients, they're going to be distracted by you. They're going to ask us questions on why you walk like that. Oh, so today, from a nerd perspective, I kind of want, because I know some people need to learn, some people need to have a grasp on how a lot of people want to work, but especially the people like me, I was born with my disability, and my disability got worse, tremendously worse, because of the mistreatment of doctors. But then sometimes when I say that, I have even jerks in my family. You don't know that. Yes, I do. It's like getting whooped until I walk right. I won't go watch the other channel to learn more about that. Getting punished in order to walk right or to pick up my feet and things. And then running track, but then since I didn't win enough races, I was being called lazy, or even my track coach was saying, "You're fast, you're really fast, you're not trying hard enough, you're not doing good, like you don't even care, you're not even." Yeah, my coach was saying this to me in front of other people, and I'm embarrassed. But now it's like I wasn't diagnosed for another 20 years. Yeah, almost exactly another exactly 20 years. Yeah. So yeah, to be diagnosed in my 30s, to be diagnosed once my yeah. And so once I finished college, trying to find a job, and then people keep looking at me, stereotyping me, labeling me, giving me a job offer when they see my resume, giving me a job offer while we're on the phone or virtual, because there was literally a university that gave me the job. The first day of class, they saw me, like I told them I have a walking disability on my paperwork, because they ask you have a disability, with diversity equity, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm black, I have a disability, I'm a woman, but I filled all of that stuff out. But the imbeciles that, if you're going to be a bigot, make sure you know who you hire before you hire them. But the thing, it was, during COVID. And so the first day he saw me, he ignored me for the dean of this university ignored me for the rest of the semester and had mocked me in front of other staff. Other staff came up to me and told me that he mocked me, and told me that he didn't want me to teach a class again because he thought that I would be a bad representation to the students because my walking would be too much of a distraction, or students would pity me, and that it would make their school look bad if they hired someone like me. And so, as a nerd and everything, we're gonna play a game, like an imagination game, because okay, if you are looking for a job and you're blind, you are going to need certain services, especially if it's doing research and reading different types of things. You're going to need certain resources that will you can plug in and the devices, so that either the screen will, because some people, they're not all of the way blind, so there's certain screen attachments you attach to the laptop or computer that allows them to be able to see. Or it's like if they are fully blind, it's like you plug it in and the device will read what's on the screen, or there's apps and programs that will read it for them. And then if someone is deaf, they would need a translator, but then the translator would either be hired or someone with help from the government. And so it's really frustrating how Republicans keep trying to take money away from us, and they keep telling us to work, but then they take away diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that was what helped some of us. It didn't help me because they always found an excuse. Like, even though I have 3 degrees and 3 certifications, even though I busted my tush in order, to just, it's just to a point where what do we have to do? Because what about those who have seizures and spasms? What about epilepsy? And what about those who are in wheelchairs, scooters like myself? And what about those who have like night vision, or like, there's so many different disabilities. And those that are on the spectrum. And I remember, like, I personally, like, I have learned that, yeah, trying to well, yeah, I'll talk about that on the other channel. But I remember there was this one guy during COVID. He kept begging me to go on a date with him and saying how amazing and wonderful I am. And but he knew about my disability. I told him about my disability. I texted him the name so he could do research, because he just kept saying, "It's like, you. I have the best conversation with you. You are amazing. You're beautiful." And it's like, I can't believe you're single. You have no reason to be single. But then once he saw me, he wanted nothing to do with me. And even on the car ride home, he says what a lot of people say. And he was like, "You need to just stay home. You shouldn't get a job. Oh, you're trying to publish a book. Don't waste your time. You should just live off the government. You should," like, he was saying all of these things. And I'm just squeezing like the car door handle, wanting to break down in tears. Like, I am, like, because it was around my birthday. This was supposed to be my birthday present. But then we were supposed to watch a movie. We were supposed to go to a drive-in. But then when he saw me, all of a sudden he changed his mind. And he was like, "Okay, we're just going to pick up food, go to my place and watch a movie." He sat me down and turned on the movie and left. And then I watched a terrible movie by myself. And he left. He waited till the movie was over, and then he drove me home. That's kind of how a lot of jobs treat us. That's how a lot of jobs treat people with disabilities. But I guess since he's on the spectrum, he was more willing to make sure that I knew that's how he was. Like, some people, they try to, not make it obvious. He didn't care. And eat like on like that was one of the most torturous rides I have ever been, like. And I've I, I've been on a car ride with my mother, and she's threatening to kick me out the car because she found out that I was still writing stories and stuff and I wanted to publish. It's like, that was, yeah, that's a car ride I will never forget. But I've actually, like, I think he almost surpasses that, because he's literally telling me not to pursue, not to do anything in my life, that I need to just stay home and do nothing. And then teaching at a community college, the amount of students who would judge me or tell me, "You must be really bored at home." It's like, why do you do this? It's like, you don't need to do this. You could just live out. Like, I've had college students tell me that I should just be home and live off the government too. And then I'm like, but I got the education. I love what I do. And I love teaching. It's like, I love advertising and marketing, and I love teaching. And, but what do, what does the handicap or disability community have to do? What rights, because now that they've taken DEI, what other rights are they going to take from us? What, like, there's even disability contraptions that people need, but insurance won't pay for it for the stupidest reasons. But when it like, and then a lot of jobs now, they don't want us to work from home, or they don't, or especially with the new administration, it's like fewer and fewer companies are having that. But then they only have stairs, or they don't have an elevator, or they, it's just really crazy because we have the technology. And then for some of us, it's transportation. For some of us, we cannot drive. But then they probably want us to pay for Uber. But how can we pay for Uber if we don't have the money? We need to have a job to have the money to be able to get Uber and Lyft. But then Uber and Lyft is going to be at, by the end of the month, like half of our paycheck. It's like, how is that fair? Especially like, we would want a job, we would love to work. But then some of us, like myself, we have to pay for physical therapy. And then for some of our medications that are not covered by insurance. And so then you add Lyft and things like that to it. It's exhausting. And so I don't know, it's just from a nerd perspective. And oh, even the fact that there's a Republican woman right now who has literally not voted in, I think, in between 6 months to a year. She literally has not voted at all. At all. But she's still getting paid by our tax dollars. She still gets paid. So I'm still wondering about that. That doesn't make any sense to me. How do you still, like, you're not doing your job. And then she's even at a senior citizen home that specializes in, like, like, I'm trying to, well, let's just say it's for a specific disability that a lot of senior citizens have. They say she doesn't have it, but she's there, and she's not able to come back to vote. But then they haven't replaced her. And part of me is just like, so she's not doing her job, but we are paying her. But then there are other people with disabilities who we want to work, but we're not able to work, or you don't give us the resources that will allow us to work, or you don't have public transportations in a lot of areas. So they like to give us transportation that will allow us to be able to independently work. But a lot of them probably like, oh, then get a ride from your family members. That's not our family members' jobs. It's like, yeah, I was born with my DNA, but that doesn't mean, like, okay, family. Or if I got it from my father's side, okay, it's your fault, so you got to drive me. Or if it's from my mother's side, well, she did, so yeah, good luck with that. But anyway, just been doing a lot of thinking because I wish there was, I I wish there were companies that did allow. There are some companies that will hire people with Down syndrome, and it's like that's part of their thing. But what about the demographic who have degrees or have a trade or a license, or like, usually it's more of the minimum wage jobs. And by law, for some jobs, they are in some companies, they are allowed to pay people with disabilities less than minimum wage. I forgot what the act is. Like, for some reason I keep thinking 40 something, but I might need to look it up and attach it or whatever, but a lot of people don't even know that. But yeah, most of the jobs that will hire people with disability is minimum wage or less. And I busted my tush off for my bachelor's with a double minor, for my MA and my MBA. And then I went and got my first certification, my second certification, and my third certification. But it's not fair. And it's frustrating because we're now living in a country that is trying to take away like funds and money that where first you're going to take our rights away from to be able to get a job, and then you want to take away money because we have a hard time finding a job and a lot of places don't want to hire us to begin with, but then you make it harder by taking the right away, but then you want to take the money away from us too, and then you one of the Republican Congress people had the nerve to say, get off your butt and start working. Well, some of us can't, like those who, yeah, the wheelchair, or like part of the paralyzed and wheelchair community. Yeah, yeah, watch what you say. Watch what you say. But anyway, I'm just, it just has me thinking a lot lately about society and how if I could fix parts of things, like one of the main things would be if public transportation in a lot more areas and cities and things like that. And then with technology, or like even like, well, the current administration would never do it, but even have like a group or a panel for the disability community that would help with showing the need for certain like equipment and necessities that would allow us to be more independent and allow more of us to work, or even a website that will like have the companies that will still hire people to be able to work at home, and professional like degree positions as well be able to like have that, or even like create more nonprofits for like people with disabilities, where every like you have an assigned time, your vehicle comes into the driveway, might be with other people with disabilities, and then they drop you off at your jobs and things like that. It's like that way, so like we are able to work, but then we don't have to rely on friends or family or whoever is. And then with the equipment and things like that, it's like maybe we can have a country that's a little bit more friendlier, and they can realize that for us to be independent we need these things. It's not just a want, it's a need. It's like you want us to work, but you don't want us to give us the resources. You want us to work, but you want to treat us like we're not equal. And some of you guys, you really need to look up what the orange guy has said and done about the disability community, and what some of the people in his cabinet has said about the disability community. Because they want us to work, but they take away the right that helped us be able to do so at the end of the day. But then they turn around and try to blame us. So it just doesn't make sense. But with my author webpage, I know I'm going to need, it's like I have so much to work on. And my goal was to have the website up by the spring. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. But I'm going to need one page where it's filled with nonprofits for the disability communities in different genres and ways. And maybe one day another site where it is disability friendly jobs, or sites that promote and help people with disabilities who need to get a job and things like that. And I know that's not my job, quote unquote, yeah, but I just feel like we need as much help as humanly possible. The disability community in America right now is like they are trying to show us that they don't think we are worth much. They don't think much of us, and we have to keep fighting, and we keep having to come together and figure out how to get this together. And there are several men that I have met with disabilities who told me politics don't matter, voting doesn't matter. One even saying that I was stupid for voting or whatever. And they were just like, politics have nothing to do with me. And I'm looking at him like, mm, you have a disability. You work at like, okay. I was like, one day, like, I don't know how many people with his disability work at this, even though it's a huge company. I don't want anybody to figure out who I'm talking about. So, but it's just when you vote, please just don't think of yourself. And I know some people are going to think that's like, or one party specifically thinks that's outlandish, but when you vote, you might be hurting the nation in so many ways. And right now, as a woman, I've been so hurt. As a black person, I've been so hurt. And as a person with with disabilities, I've been so hurt. And we haven't even crossed the 1 month mark, but already they're they're taking away the rights from majority of my demographics and my identity and what people see on the outside, because they don't care what's on the inside, they care about what's on the outside. And so at the end of the day, just yeah. But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Nerd channel. And I will just see you guys next time. If you can throw out your thoughts about like the needs and wants for the disability to community to be able to work, or if you know some companies that are disability friendly that people would enjoy working for, if you can put those in the messages, because we really need that help right now. And or if you own a company and you're willing to hire people with disabilities, drop it and I might make a video. Like, I'll even do some research and do a full blown video on you so everyone can check you out. Maybe if you have products for us to buy, you never know. So, because yeah, that's what the Nerd Channel is. I want to promote small businesses and like even talk advertising and marketing and different ways like that. So, but take care and look after each other.